What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Quick Sticks. Matt, James, and Sam here. We are fresh back from our weekend in Charlotte to see the PLL games. We had what I would say was an amazing time. I don't know about the two of you. I was incredibly surprised at how just insane the atmosphere was. I thought it was the venue, the vendors, everything like that. It was just very well done. That was my first PLL experience. I was not expecting that level of organization.
Yep.
The people were amazing. What'd y'all think?
I mean, I thought my biggest thing, I think we talked about it over the weekend, is that like Charlotte's obviously a southern state, someplace that like hasn't had lacrosse be that big, and for the crowd to be that big for that game. I mean, people aren't traveling 2 or 3 states over, so it just speaks to how much the game has grown. I mean, we had that last game, that overtime game. I mean, I felt like a football atmosphere. It was awesome.
It felt like a Monday Night Football just on a smaller scale. It was
100%.
so hype.
It was
So
awesome.
hype.
It was awesome, especially the
And that
comeback,
venue,
watching that.
that venue alone is awesome with that skyline, with that Charlotte skyline in the back, especially with the sun setting. Even though I think sun played a factor late in the game when it was at that angle, you could see guys in that one field missing passes, like kind of standard stuff, and stuff was. I felt like it had an effect. So maybe an advantage someone can think of next year.
I mean, that's
great.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, one thing that stood out to me was just, I mean, I know PLL or lacrosse family is like, a hashtag or whatever, but it was just awesome. Like wherever we sat, because we changed seats a few times, everywhere we sat, people behind us, people in front of us, next to us, everyone was like talking to each other. It was so cool. I've never seen that at a sports game before.
Yeah, especially that family that we saw that had 3 different jerseys within one family. And they were
That's
just like,
awesome.
yeah, we all just found different ones. I was like, does that cause a tip with the family? They're like, that's why we come. I was like, that's awesome. That's really cool.
We thought this woman was a player's parents.
I mean, she was hunched over. Like that fourth quarter, I felt like it was causing her like stress. And I was like, you got to have a player on the team. She was like, I just love blacks.
So James went up to her after the last game and asked, and she was like, what did she say? She was just like, I just turned on the PLL one day and loved it.
Yeah, I loved it from day one. And then her husband watched the game, and he was like, I love the Redwoods. And then her daughter plays lacrosse.
That's so sick, man.
Yeah, and she's a Whip Snakes fan, so she was like, when they came to Charlotte, it was a no-brainer for us. And she, strong Southern woman too. It was cool to see her be so passionate about something other than football.
Yeah, I would have never expected that turnout in a city like Charlotte.
No, and I mean, dude, that place. And I mean, Sam and I talked about this, but like, it's a paradise for kids. It literally is.
For sure.
You bring your stick, your whole team comes. Like you can see these guys play live.
They're throwing T-shirts.
Yeah, yeah.
That was crazy. Like I expected kids there, but not to that degree, which is a great thing for the future of the PLL. Like,
100%.
but it was just it just kind of blew my expectations of how popular this sport was with little kids. So that's just an awesome sign for the longevity of the PLL, in my opinion.
100%, especially with the PLL championship series coming, where they're going to draft kids who are in 8th grade. Like, dude, like that's something that I would have strived for in middle school. So it's cool.
Yeah. Well, and Sam, with your active charges, I was glad the judge allowed you into the stadium with all the kids there. That was fun too.
That's fair.
Bullshit.
Happy you could join us.
Both of you.
All right, let's jump in. We're going to do some game recaps. First game we had was Chrome Redwoods. I would say probably the most boring game I've ever watched in the PLL, but so I have to add, I'm going to start this off. Sure. I have seen so much chatter this week saying the Redwoods need to bench Rob Pennell.
Whoa.
I'm going to give my take, and then I'll let you two speak, but
go ahead.
I find it blasphemous to think they should bench Rob Pennell. I get he's been a non-factor, but you're talking about one of the all-time greats of lacrosse, and it's week 2, guys. Like, okay, I talked earlier about how the Atlas, for example, their offense focuses, it's focused around ball movement. Everyone gets a touch. Redwoods is very focused on one-man physicality. One man's going to do what he does. That obviously needs to change, because there were so many possessions in this game where, whether it was Perkovic, Miles Jones, Nakai Montgomery, whoever, with the ball in their stick, and there's just no movement off ball. It's literally just that guy's going to try and dodge, and then if he can't, he's going to pass it. That guy's going to dodge. There's usually 1, maybe 2 passes, and then a shot's ripped. So Obviously, something needs to change in their offense. I don't know the answer, but I personally think benching Rob Pennell was a huge mistake. What do you guys think?
Go ahead, Sam.
I agree. I think his experience alone is what they should rely on right now until Montgomery becomes more experienced and can be maybe that number one guy. But no one's going to touch Rob Pennell's experience and vision and what he has, especially playing quarterback. excuse me, behind the X. They need him there when you have guys like Montgomery, Jones.
Agreed.
And all these guys. So I think it's a recency bias. They had like over 20 turnovers for the game. So it's like, I think it's everybody's fault on the offense. Like I have their stats here and they had 13 shots on goal. Like that's the entire offense's fault.
Yeah.
And with the level of expectations that we had for them coming in, like it just made it kind of hard to watch, really.
Yeah. I think the Rob Pennell thing is one, a scapegoat, and two, a knee-jerk reaction. Because when offenses are doing this, which we've seen in the NBA a lot too, like there'll be a game where Boston plays and everyone just tries to play one-on-one. Tatum has a bad game and it's Tatum's fault, but it's the entire offense's fault. I mean, lack of ball movement and turnovers isn't just one guy. So I also think people are just downplaying how good the Chrome are. Like, sure, they didn't play
absolutely
that well,
agree with
but
that.
so many times people like want to find a reason the Redwoods didn't play well. Maybe the Chrome just played well. Like maybe I mean, JT Giles Harris wasn't there last year, and he has proven already that he is a nightmare of a defender, off ball and on ball. So I think people are just like, it's like recency bias, but it's also like last year bias, where it's like the Chrome were so bad and they beat the Redwoods really badly. So that means the Redwoods aren't good. When the reality might just be the Chrome are good and the Redwoods aren't yet. So
yeah, I fully agree with, and that was like my second part of this take was the Redwoods have played the Atlas and the Chrome. Right now, those are the top two teams in the league. So there's a good chance that the Redwoods have just gotten super unlucky with their schedule, and they've just happened to face the best two teams in the league right now. Obviously, putting up 3 goals is not going to win you any games in the PLL, but I agree. I think, yes, it says a lot about what's going wrong with the Redwoods, but do not sleep on what that means for the Chrome's defense.
Like, there's too many good players on the Redwoods team.
Exactly.
That many turnovers and that many shots on goal, and not to tout that Chrome is playing well. Like, that's crazy. And teams like the Redwoods scare me about Blaze is because Timmy Trotner isn't playing like Timmy Trotner has. So
no, he's not.
Maybe how many games last year did they win by 5 that Timmy had 16 saves? And this year he just doesn't. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tip my cap again to Sean Scanone. That dude, 70% saves. I was like, this dude is also way bigger than I thought in person. Just a mammoth in the net, but he's playing out of his mind right now.
He also has great outlets, man. He has some really nice outlets. He creates offense
on the
immediately
run.
After a save. Yeah, on the run. And we saw him play on the cage. So fast. I don't know, man. I think the Chrome are just good.
I'm confident saying right now, either the Chrome are really legit this year, and the Redwoods could be bad. Both can be true, but this was never a game. It was an ass whooping from the start.
It was a domination. I mean, they couldn't even get the ball around.
Yeah, I mean it was 6-1 at halftime. So that
we were there with Zach, who hasn't watched the PLL much. He was like, "Is it always like this?" I was like, "No."
Yeah, just a horrible first game for your first day.
Like, dude, it's like really intense. It's highly competitive. It's like 12-3. I was like, all right. Usually it's not like this, but
second game of the weekend was a lot better. We've got Chaos Archers. Sam, go ahead and start this one off with your take, and then I'll jump in. We'll let the homer go last.
That's smart.
Yeah, you're right. This game was a lot more fun. Definitely, I can't remember who I picked to win, but I definitely thought the Archers offense came to life and was producing the way I thought they should based on the roster they have. Granted, we were just talking about this before the show started, but like the NLL, they still have 1 more or maybe 2 more weeks. James, I forget what you said. Maybe next week is the last game. Yeah. So they're still missing quite a bit of players. So I'm not going to I'm not going to kind of grade Chaos until they have their whole squad back, because this could be a different game with those guys in the roster. So, but good on Atlas for doing what I think they should do and win this game by 5 points. So I was impressed. I thought this is a game they should win, and they did. So, but I don't think anybody should mark Chaos because they still scored 12 goals, put up a fight, and they are missing 6 guys, or I forget how many guys.
Yeah, something like that.
It's a lot. Yeah.
4 to 6. Yeah, 4 to 6. All right, go ahead, Matt. I like that.
Yeah, I have to fully agree with Sam. I think anyone who's saying that Chaos are bad or in trouble right now needs to pay closer attention to lacrosse. Chaos are going to be a legit problem when they get their guys back. You've got Blaze playing fantastic between the pipes. Jared Newman played phenomenally well in week 1. He regressed a little bit this week.
He looks good.
Rowlett's playing well. The offense is the issue. Your LSM Costabile is your leading scorer.
Yep.
It's never good when that's the case. But again, you're missing all of your main scorers for the most part. So, people are sleeping on. I get the Chaos are 0-2. I get it. It's 2 weeks in the season. They're missing their entire offense. So everything else is playing. Every other position is playing fantastically well. Your LSM is playing well. Your defense, your goalie are all playing pretty well. So I'm not worried about the Chaos. The Chaos will be back in the top half of the rankings in probably 3 weeks, I'd say. On the flip side, the Archers look fantastic compared to week 1. Matt Moore is officially a problem for shorties.
100%.
This dude is
100%.
As a downhill dodger. I don't know. I don't even know what your strategy is as a short stick defender when he's.
Well, he's gonna get by you. It's
just like how quickly is he gonna get by you?
That's what I said. Straight line dodger. I take him over a lot of guys.
For sure, and that's evident now. But so he's playing great. Will Manny played fantastic. Gittleman had the goalie hit of the century on Westberg, which was insane. He had 11 saves.
That hit was awesome.
That was so sick.
Perfect.
That was amazing.
That was another probably besides the Water Dogs Whip Snakes. When that dude laid that hit, the stadium just erupted. It was so fun. Everyone was standing up like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, that was cool, man. That was awesome. That was cool.
But I think everyone kind of panicked when the Archers lost to the Chrome in week 1. It's evident now that the Chrome are good. I think the Archers are going to be on the remount, especially when they get Grant Ament back. I don't see the Archers as being a top 3 team, but I'd say 4 or 5 seed right now. But I was impressed with the defensive and goaltending, tactics of Chaos. But overall, Archers looked 1,000% better than they did week 1.
Yeah, night and day. I honestly think, and I guess this is the homer take, but like some of the things that happened in the game, I would be a little worried as an Archers fan, because if you look at the stats, it was 18-17 on turnovers, caused turnovers, Chaos wins 6-4, face-offs, we won 57%, they won 43. We keep talking about how the Archers are a face-off guy away, and like he still hasn't really shown that he's dominant enough to change their season. At least that's what I think. We actually even beat him in ground balls. So
Inacio didn't play though. In all fairness,
that's right. But like that hit that we're talking about, remember the game was like 13-12 when that happened. I remember like Westberg would have tied it, and Adam Gittleman played that well. So I'm gonna echo everything you guys said. Truthfully, I'm not that worried because our issue is offense. We're missing offensive players, and Jared Newman's playing better than he did last year. Like easily better than he did last year.
For sure.
And he almost looks like he's gonna become that 2-point threat again. He at least had 1 shot on goal, and he had a couple opportunities where he was just in the fast break. So it's not great that we lost. Obviously, you'd never be happy about a loss, but I don't know. It makes me feel a little better that our issue was defense, and our defense has obviously improved. So we'll see.
Very true. You guys do play the Redwoods next week, and at this point, that's a guaranteed dub. So, congrats on being 1-2.
Wow.
I mean, dude, that's not that much of a hot take, man.
It's really not right now. 3 goals.
They were
anyway,
really week.
So we'll jump to the second day of games. We had 2 more on this slate. First game we had was Atlas Cannons. We don't really need to mention. So we're going to go to Water Dogs Whip Snakes.
Wow.
Wow. Wow. That's how much fear they put in you guys, man.
You know what? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about
Let's
it.
talk about it. Let's talk about it. No, I'll talk about it. I'm not even scared.
Yeah, James, you lead us off. I'll go second. Sam, you're last.
I got you. If Lyle Thompson plays, I think they have a chance to beat you guys.
Ding winner.
Hook, line, sinker. I think everybody, man, I'm going to put this clip online. Everybody was wrong about Asher Nolte. You guys were all wrong. All of you. All of you were wrong. I told you. He can play off ball. Like, he played really well, even with Lyle not being there. I mean, he's good. But that being said, the Atlas look like a well-oiled machine. They look like they have too many weapons. I mean, ball rotations. I mean, as far as kids watching lacrosse, I'm glad they got to watch that game. But that's how the game's supposed to be played. Everybody get touches. Everybody have fun. Everybody eats. So I think Atlas are my favorite for right now, just because they have just so many different pieces that work. But, the Cannons are, a Lyle Thompson away. So what's the score when Lyle plays? But I think Sam, as an Atlas fan, you should be very excited. You guys are good.
Yep, there's no denying that. I agree. And we found out, obviously everyone found out Lyle wasn't playing that morning. We're still, I still haven't really read into what happened, but as soon as we heard Lyle was out, I pretty much knew how this one was going to play out. It probably was a mental disaster in the locker room when they found out Lyle wasn't playing.
And they're
talking about
might be out next week.
Right. So not only are you playing the best team in the league right now, you also are missing your best player, aka the best player in the world.
Yeah.
You're just mentally deflated, I think. So any chance of like David versus Goliath, let's go out and upset this team is gone. Mentally, it's gone. 100%. So that's a lot of adversity to overcome. I don't think the Cannons were ready to handle it. They clearly were not. But on the flip side, the Atlas offense looks unstoppable. Chris Gray looks like he's been on this team for 3 years. Jeff Teat is making another run for MVP. Ramar's
Why
back
does
hitting.
He look like he's always walking? Like Jeff Teat looks like he's like.
He does
it's
actually.
Just, you saw Kyle Harrison's tweet. Like he was like, "Yo, Jeff Tweet is like Jeff Teat's out here just chilling. Like he's like dodging, relaxing." And sorry, Matt. I need to add one more thing to mine. Kobe Smith is
Kobe Smith.
He's so good.
Kobe Smith is really good.
He threw a box fake. He threw a box fake on a fast break with a pole.
Also, the celly after he scored was pretty dope.
Come on. And as I told you guys, if a pole has his elbows up here, it's a criminal.
Yeah, I feel like we need another episode just to talk about that.
Yeah,
that is a psychotic move, but I respect the hell out of it.
I do. I just, dude, as a coach, as an Atlas fan, you have to love Kobe Smith. He's an animal. He's everywhere. So
yeah, I'm seeing why Coach Brooks is a big fan of his.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, with Gray, T, and you've got Ramar back hitting, on the run 2-pointers. There's no one stopping this offense right now. I don't care what defense you have. But to your point, James, I mean, it was funny at the end of the game. Asher Nolting was at the end of the game was just like, "Fuck it, we're down by 8. I'm taking over this offense," which someone needs to do. But yes, to anyone who's saying Asher could not play off ball, you need to go back and watch the first 2 games because he 1,000% can.
You are incorrect.
It was towards the end of the game, it felt like the Cannons coach kind of pulled Asher aside and said, "We need you to be Lyle." It's way too early in his career for that. Nothing against Asher, but those are the biggest shoes in the world to fill. So Cannons come up short. I agree. If you're an Atlas fan, there is no reason you are not on cloud 9 right now. Because when you think of an offensive clinic, it's the Atlas.
It's the Atlas every week. My goodness.
Sam, let's get your opinion out of the way here.
Just get this out of this one.
I got my stress.
I'm super excited. They look that family style that Coach Brooks was talking about looks
trademark
in full effect. And it looks like everybody is bought in. That's kind of what it looks like.
Well said.
And coupled with Baptiste's awesome performance, 80% wins. I think he only let Cannons win 5 faceoffs.
20-5.
Yeah, 20-5. So that dominant performance just kind of allowed us to get into the zone with the offense. And like you guys said, the Teat on the right wing, Gray on the left wing, like you kind of just have to pick and choose and hope they miss,
Yep.
So offense is great. You know, I think Van Raphorst and Dirk and even Kobe Smith, his defense is on point. Like I will take him as a point defender. He was not letting up a lot of guys get past him. And so I think this is, I expect us to be in the championship after this week, seeing as how we played. But you're right. You're also right about Lyle Thompson. Like that news it didn't make the game like unimportant, but you know, there is like for some people there's that asterisk.
A little asterisk.
Yeah, there's for some people there's that asterisk. So I just look forward to playing them with Lyle next time.
Yeah, and I think something that maybe people who haven't played lacrosse don't understand the importance of this. Trevor winning all those faceoffs is great for your offense, obviously, because you guys always have the ball.
The defense.
But as an attackman, dude, you might not see the ball for like an entire quarter if you're on the cannons. Like you can't get into a flow if you're not touching the ball, if you're not spinning it. So Trevor winning like 20 faceoffs, like Asher probably went 2 quarters that he didn't have the ball one time. Like how can you get in a rhythm when you never had the ball? So right. Trevor is almost like your best defender in addition to your best offense creator. You know, it's crazy.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, so my cousin Zach was with us, and he had never really, paid super close attention to lacrosse. So we kind of told him before the game started, like, you're about to see domination at the face-off stripe with Trevor Baptiste in there. And he leaned over at one point and he was like, I feel like they just need to give the ball to the cannons. Kind of like, it was like, it was literally make it, take it for most of the game.
Every time.
I mean, yeah, I don't know what you are working on in practice to compete with Baptiste, but it doesn't even look like a challenge for him right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, they're gonna have to like run a pole out there and just try to like make it a ground ball, make it like a one-on-one ground ball, I guess. But it's also hard because they have Kobe Smith on the wing.
I know.
So you have an F-16 flying in. Shout out Top Gun.
Yes. Shout out.
They could come and win any one-on-one ground ball now, and then you have Trevor. So
yeah,
I don't know, man. It's kind of scary.
Well, getting dominated on faceoffs is a great segue into our last game. So last game of the weekend was Water Dogs Whip Snakes. This was unfortunately the best game of the weekend for me. It was absolute, I'll say nail biter on the bad side. But so Water Dogs had I don't even know, 6-goal lead. 5-6 goal. Whip Snakes come back, tie it up, end up winning the game in overtime. But I'm going to start this off. I'm officially handing the panic button on the Water Dogs. It's week 2, week 3 now, but I don't know. The Water Dogs offense looked better this week, obviously, than week 1, but it just looks so stale to me. Yeah. And I don't know. It's too – I love Michael Sowers. It almost seems like it's too centered around him.
Yeah.
Every possession, he would just sit behind the cage. One person would cut, and it would either be a terrible pass or it'd be a good pass that just got intercepted by the defense.
Yeah.
But they had so many damn turnovers with passes out of bounds, missed shots, not having a backup Fogo when Jake Withers went down killed them. Zach Courier had to go to the stripe, won 2 of 21 faceoffs. Joseph Nardella won 22 of 26 faceoffs. So when that happens, you're really – the fact that they even went into overtime with those stats is crazy.
Yeah, that's wild.
A lot of that had to do with Matt DeLuca. Matt DeLuca was 100% the MVP of this game. Dude played amazing, a complete 180 from week 1. James and I were talking about this after the game. Personally, I still think when Dillard Ward comes back, you have to play him. It's going to be interesting, though. I don't think it's a luck, though. I think you have to – if DeLuca plays week 3, I think that's going to be a make-or-break week for him.
But he played, out of his mind, dude.
He played fantastic. That one possession where he saved back-to-back shots, I was like, this is a man possessed right now.
Yeah, he was on that night.
Yeah, but it was a great game. I told them leaving the stadium, I was like, I can't even be mad that we lost. It was such a fun game to watch, but something's got to change for my dogs.
It's true.
What do y'all think?
I feel like wonder if Sowers would benefit from that Whip Snakes pick they run when they have their pick on GLE.
The
So he
slam.
would have to bring his, he would have to bring his guy right up to GLE, and you have to make that decision right there, opposed to him just trying to go 1-on-1. I feel like that might behoove them. But I think a note in this game that's kind of scary, and or Matt, I'm sure you saw this, but like Whipsnakes won ground balls 44-23. That's really bad.
Damn, I didn't know
Like
that.
that's honestly one team just. I mean, this is a really coach line, but like that's just one team wanting it more. There's
sure.
no science to ground balls. It's just who wants it. That's it. So I feel like that the Water Dogs got a little complacent, and they started playing not to lose, which is terrible. They kind of stopped attacking the cage. I don't think it's panic button time for you guys though. I really don't, because this is essentially Sauer's first year. You know, like how many games did he play last year? Like
One.
One, right? Like, I mean, we gotta give these guys some time. I mean, these guys haven't played a game with them in very long time. But Whipsnakes look good, or at least better than they did the week before. I do think we're seeing how important Zed Williams is on this team, though.
For sure.
Rambo puts up, Rambo puts up numbs, but like that offense is like a little more stagnant without Zed back there and a little less creative. So, no, it was definitely the best game of the weekend. I mean, people were standing up all around the stadium, especially when it went to OT. So that was awesome. Best game of the weekend by far.
Shout out to the guy who missed the comeback and then watched overtime.
Shout out to him. It's on our TikTok page.
Yeah, go to our TikTok. You'll see the best TikTok of the year.
Yes.
Missed the comeback. Crazy. I agree with your take, Matt, that their offense kind of was stagnant. Going on top of James's, they won 44 ground balls. Whipsnakes also had 26 turnovers to the Water Dogs 14. So that, coupled with the fact that they came back and they had twice as many turnovers, that's just indication that the offense.
That's a lot of turnovers.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, how many shot clock violations did we see in that game? It was like 3 a quarter.
Right. Yeah.
It was insane.
I would love these stats broken down per quarter. I bet the ground ball differential in the fourth quarter was where that gap happened. I guarantee that.
But I think that's the answer, is like they didn't capitalize on the turnovers. And I also think what's his name? Nardella. Or no, Burnlore. Burnlore played great down the stretch, especially in the second half.
A lot of big saves.
He kept them in. He made the saves that I guess where you call them like 50-50. It's either in or he gets there in time. But he made those saves, and I think he's the one. I would say he's, if not the player of the game for the Whipsnakes, he's the second half player of the game, because he definitely.
Oh no, yeah, I think both goalies were the player of the game.
Yeah. But absolutely, game, like the way to end the weekend with an overtime game, coming down to the wire like that, like coming back, it was just great. Like great content, regardless, whose team was on the
overtime lacrosse under the lights outside.
Dude.
Best.
But like the PLL's rule change of no timeouts in overtime is amazing. It's amazing.
It's so good.
Thank you.
Let the players win. Let the players duke it out.
The freaking stadium was chanting no timeouts when it went into overtime. Like they were so pumped.
Cool. It's better. This is probably the most fun fact of the game. Jay Carlson had 6 points, 5 goals and an assist. I want you guys to guess his shooting percentage for that game.
17?
No, just Jay Carlson. Just Jay Carlson.
Oh.
What did you say? 7?
He had 6 points and 6. Wait.
He had 6
5
points,
goals.
5 goals, 1 assist. What do you guys think his shooting percentage was for the game?
Like
say
75.
I'd say 80.
Yeah, it was 83.
Damn.
That's wild. That's
6 shots. He had 6 shots.
He did.
Holy shit.
That is crazy.
All right, maybe Jay Carlson was the player of the game.
Yeah, I mean,
my bad.
Because I was just looking to see how what Rambo had, and I was like, 11%, and I was like, who is this 83? Oh, that's. Carlson.
I mean, normally I would never guess anything close to 80, but with the way you preface that, I was like, it's got to be just.
It's got to be high. It's got to be high, and that's why.
Normally, I would say like 40, 50.
Exactly. So.
Nardella had 15 ground balls too.
Gee. Wow. Yeah, so that's a tidbit. But Jay Carlson too, he's Johnny on the spot, man. Rebounds, ground balls in front of the cage, that's all him. He eats those up. So that was cool.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was I mean, the Whipstakes looked a lot better than they did in the first week. So they're 2-0. Didn't realize that because they beat Chaos week 1, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they are. So wow. Whip Snakes might be onto something here.
They're squeaking through though. That's crazy.
Yeah, they sure are. 2 1-goal victories.
Yeah.
I didn't realize Sowers had 4 assists too. That's cool. That's something to build
Yeah, that's a jaded stat.
That's fair. Courier is a lot bigger than I realized too, by the way.
Courier's big. Not a great
DeLuca's
face-off
huge.
guy. Matt DeLuca's big.
Matt DeLuca's
I know,
massive.
that's what I'm saying. So the Water Dogs need to add another Fogo to the roster.
Yeah, I mean that might be something that they do. Dude, that game was awesome.
Cool stat. So you guys got some options.
That's true. But yeah, so that was our weekend. Again, we had a great time. Can't thank the PLL enough. We'll definitely be going to the semis in DC in September.
Yeah.
I want to make this a yearly thing. That shit was so much fun.
That was awesome. Can I just ask real quick, what's your guys' most excited for game for next weekend?
Ooh, great question. I'm going to say I think it has to be Atlas Whipsnakes. You got 2-2-0 teams. But my sleeper game is if Lyle plays, my sleeper game is Archer's Cannons.
Yeah, Archer's Cannons. I'm kind of hyped for that game.
Atlas Whipsnakes, I don't know. Yes, they're both 2-0. I think Atlas are miles ahead of the Whipsnakes right now, especially without Zed Williams. But Archer's Cannons, if they're both healthy, that's going to give me a really good idea of where those two teams are at.
Especially if Grant plays. I wonder what's Grant's timeline.
Yeah, that's very true.
So no, I had Atlas Whipsnakes got to beat the game, but Archer's Cannons is a close second.
Yeah, so I'm putting $20. Water Dogs beat the Chrome next week. Calling it right now. Panic button's been hit. We're turning the season around. It starts in Long Island, on Long Island.
Yo,
Water Dogs.
We're taking you guys to the pound, dude.
We get
No, absolutely not. As a Philly fan, I know for a fact that hungry dogs run faster. They're going to be out there.
Thanks, Feed the Wolf. Nice.
That's what I was going to say. Water Dogs Chrome is my sleeper game of the week. I think that's going to be
This guy
the
gets it. That's what I'm saying.
And then I think biggest game of the week is Atlas Whipsnakes, but sleeper game is going to be Water Dogs Chrome because I think Water Dogs they're going to put up a fight. I think it's going to be a 12-11 game. Coming down the last.
Look at Matt. He's coaching you. I hate when you guys do this. All right, Matt, wrap it up.
This is a conspiracy theory.